You're listening to the Patriot Nation podcast.
All right, welcome into another edition of the Patriot Nation podcast. As always, a proud member of the CLNS group of podcasts. Make sure you download and subscribe to all of the shows on the CLNS network to get great Patriots content all week long. But tonight, it's the Patriot Nation podcast with your guy, Pat Lane, here with my man, Matt St. Jean. And Matt, I'm back. You did a solo show the other day. I feel like we haven't been together for a while because I did a few solo shows when you were out sick. You did a solo show while I was in Washington watching maybe the worst game ever played. And now here we are, back together again.
Yeah, feels good. We're finally here. Cleared by my neurologist officially today.
Love it.
I took the what do you call it, concussion protocol out of my bio on Twitter. So we're all set now. Love
it. That's great. Also, what do you say?
Oh, I was going to ask how the trip was to Washington.
The trip was a ton of fun. It was, thanks to the government shutdown, our flight was canceled 5 minutes before boarding. We went through TSA. We took an Uber. We took like the Logan Express into the city. It was just an absolute nightmare. And we're like, oh, okay. 5 minutes before we started boarding, they canceled the flight. So we're like, what are we gonna do? What do you say?
Convenient timing.
Yeah, I was just like, this is unbelievable. I'm like, even if you cancel it during the day, like, cancel it in the morning. The plane was already there. The plane was there. They said they made up some ridiculous thing like, oh, DC there was gonna be too many planes flying out of DC or something like that. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So they canceled the flight. He had another buddy going down that left at 8:30. His flight got out. He had another buddy going down that left at 3:30. He canceled his trip and went with us. His flight got out as well, which is wild. It was American Airlines. TD's asking what airline was it. It was American Airlines. The good people at American Airlines. They blamed the government shutdown. Now, whether it was a government shutdown or not, I don't know. But that's what they said. So we were like, screw it. We're not waiting around. I'm not rebooking. I'm not doing any of that stuff. Like, let's go. So we canceled our flight. Luckily, they got rid of change fees because of everything that's going on. So we just canceled our flight for no fee. Grabbed his car and drove down 8 hours to DC. And then it was fun. We had a good time. Saturday night was a lot of fun, just kind of hanging out with the guys, which was cool. And then Sunday, we went to the bar and we're hanging out. My brother-in-law's a big Liverpool fan, so we're watching the Liverpool game. They got smoked. Liverpool got crushed by Man City. And then the Pats game was on, so we were watching the Pats game, and then we went to the Commanders game. The Secret Service individually checked every single person that walked in the building, which was cool.
Yeah. Saw that news, and I was like, "Oh, Pat's gonna have a great time getting into the stadium."
Yeah, it took us over an hour to get into the stadium. We missed almost the entire first quarter, and it was just.
Well, thankfully, it's not. I mean, it's not like you paid for those tickets and were expecting to get in.
That is correct. Now, luckily, as someone who was not a Commanders fan, I didn't really care. My brother-in-law, as a Commanders fan, didn't really care that much either because by the time we got in there, it was like 21-0. So he didn't miss much. But it was the fact that, whatever. So anyways, it was a whole thing. So poor planning on our part, not being there earlier, I guess. But we had a good time. And then yesterday, we just spent the day driving, left around 11. And got back left around noon or so and got back to my house around 10:30. So took a few stops, ate some dinner, had lunch, had dinner, did things like that. So, but we had a good time. It was a lot of fun. He was super surprised with his two other buddies that he didn't know were coming, were there. So that was cool. So it was a fun experience. The RFK really wasn't that bad. I mean, it was an okay stadium. It wasn't great, but it was an okay stadium. They have like standing room only at the top. So they have like rows and like seats, but they're not seats. They're like standing room. It was kind of interesting. So like the New England has standing room, but they're not like designated spots. whereas this was like designated spots. But it was pretty good. So yeah. So that's that.
An interesting weekend.
Overall, it was a fun weekend. Yeah, we had a good time.
Everyone here has heard my thoughts on the Patriots game, but no one has gotten to hear yours.
Yes.
So, what is it?
Yeah, let's hear it. Yeah.
Seven in a row now, 28-23 win, big touchdowns. What do you think?
Yes. So first of all, shout out to Jerry D, new member over here, and Corey saying LFG Pats, and TD and Jack checking in. We appreciate you guys. But nevertheless, this, I was worried about this game. I was nervous about this game. I thought, defensively came out the way we always come out, which is like not great. It just seems like we never can come out strong early on. But, even offensively, they were struggling at the beginning. Drake he's just so flipping good. And he wasn't even great on Sunday, but some of the throw to Kyle Williams was just outrageous. I mean, that's one of the best throws you'll see all year long. And I know it was only, a 12-yard pass downfield or something like that, but it was just the way that he adjusted his body to make that throw through the contact. And it was just the absolute perfect placement of the ball. It was incredible. And then, the speed from Henderson and Williams was on display, which was great.
Can I have a note here on the speed of those two?
Yes.
So I actually just saw Next Gen Stats tweeted this out an hour ago, 2 hours ago. The fastest ball carriers of the week.
Yep.
The five fastest. Number 1, Trevion Henderson. Number 2, Kyle Williams. Number 3, Trevion Henderson again. Did you see who 4 and 5 were, Pat?
Yeah, it was one of them was H.N., right? And one of them was...
Nope. You saw both of them. One of them is Jameson Williams, who... That was one of my comps for Kyle Williams. Like, this is discount Jameson Williams. It's that same skill set in like that kind of big play home run.
Maybe I was looking at just the 1 o'clock slate. Okay,
yeah. And then the 5th one is Jahmyr Gibbs, who people were comparing Trevion Henderson to. So it's our guys and the 2 guys in the NFL who they were compared to, which is, I think, pretty cool.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. And to see that speed on display was great. And, Kyle Williams is a really nice route that he ran, because that throw, to me, it was a perfect throw, but it was a great route because he's able to get, leverage on Morrison, who I like Benjamin Morrison a lot. I liked him coming out of school from Notre Dame. I liked him. He can't stick with. There's no way he can stick with Kyle Williams running across the field and across the route. He just can't do it.
There aren't many that can.
Right. But the thing is that if Drake throws that short, that's a pick six. And that's why it's so impressive, because that trail technique, he's right, it's there. He's got pressure bearing down on him. If it's not a perfect throw, it's a pick six. And there's a lot of quarterbacks that won't even make that throw because, they're worried that if I don't make a perfect pass, it's a pick six. And Drake doesn't have a problem making the throw because he knows that he can get it into the spot that he needs to get it into. And he does, and Williams does the rest. And you're just like, okay, like this is awesome. This is something special that we're seeing, out of a guy playing with confidence, playing within himself. And, it is what it is. But, I love that. I didn't love every play that Drake made. I thought he made some really bad plays. I thought he made some really bad throws. Obviously, the interception in the end zone was horrendous. Probably his worst throw of the year. Well, maybe not. The throw to who the hell is the rookie linebacker that I loved, got drafted in the first round, Schlesinger.
That's the one where he said he forgot he was there.
Right. So, but that decision-making wise was like, what? It's first down. Just throw the ball away. Like, what are we doing here,
I want to make a comparison between those two throws too, because I think the pick in the end zone shows you how hard the Kyle Williams touchdown is. Like,
yes.
The reason the throw in the end zone ends up being a pick is because Matt Collins is running away from someone, and you got to find a way to lead him perfectly with that ball. And like this is, I think, when you look at the accuracy concerns with May in college, it was primarily with two different things. One of them was throwing to the flats, oftentimes when he didn't get his feet set before doing it. And the other one was that on crossing routes, he had a tendency to throw behind his receivers. And like you see that on the Mac Hollins one, it's a pick because he throws behind him. Right. The fact that he's able to make that throw to Kyle Williams so accurately in that position while getting hit, I think shows, obviously there's room to grow with the accuracy, but just shows how far it's, risen from where it was 2 years ago.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And so anyways, I thought that was awesome. I thought Tonga was a guy that just played his butt off, man. And, people have talked about it, and Vrabel actually praised the media for talking about it, but I loved the way he plays and getting him in the run game, the physicality that he brings to the run game. He just clears people up. And that last Travion Henderson play, that last touchdown by him, the Pats offensive line gets credit for, taking down 6 guys. He took down 4 of them himself. Like he seals the edge and then falls down. Will Campbell has a great seal block, falls over him, and 3 other guys fall because of it. And it's like, it's incredible. And it's one of those things that, you watch it and you're like, man, this guy just, he's coming at the line. That he's going to murder someone when he comes up there. And I think that it just brings that little bit of extra physicality to the run game. And, they haven't been the best running team. They have not been the best running team, but it worked. But did it? Like, it did work. But outside of their 3 long runs, they didn't really do anything. They had 2 super long runs and like a 16-yard run by Travion. Outside of that, I mean, listen, obviously, like those 3 are huge plays. But outside of that, they overall success rate wasn't high running the ball.
Well, like Sunday is basically the football equivalent of finishing a baseball game with 3 hits, having all 3 be like solo home runs. Right. But that's basically what that was. But with Tonga, he is genuinely good as a blocker. Yeah. Because the issue a lot of defensive guys have if you try to put him in this position, it's one of 2 things. One, they're just not experienced with it, so they really can't make adjustments. You have to point them to a spot and say go, and they're just going to do that thing, and that's it. And the other thing is that a lot of times these guys aren't used to like moving in a straight line, trying to hit something from a distance like that, and they just don't have like the fine motor control and like body control to like make subtle adjustments to like make sure that you're hitting somebody at the right angle to actually block them. So it's not something they do. And Tonga's been good at both. There's a play, I forget where it was, they let him up at fullback, and like someone whiffs on a block, and because of that, Tonga's blocking assignment basically changes because he, as the fullback, you have to just hit the first guy coming through. And the first guy coming through changes because someone whiffs on a block, and he adjusts and hits him in what is genuinely a good block. Yeah, like, that's so hard to do, and he's just stepping in and doing it. I think he did some of this in college, so it's not totally foreign to him. But like, you should keep this package. This is a good thing to have. He's good at it. This is an asset.
I agree. And listen, Jack mentioned, without the 2 long runs, Henderson averaged 1.8 yards per carry. And that's, and maybe he's a home run guy or bust, right? And I think that ultimately that's why he's not your lead bell cow running back, because he's not the guy that picks up 3 yards on a cloud of dirt. That's just not who he is. And I'm okay with that. Jahmyr Gibbs, to me, and I know Gibbs, is the comparison, Jahmyr Gibbs to me is a more complete back than Henderson is, right? Now, can Henderson develop into something that Jahmyr Gibbs has turned into? Because I think it took Gibbs a few years to turn into that. He could. He certainly could. But, I think that, I like where he's at right now. I like the fact that they're using him a little bit more, and they're getting him at the edge, and they're doing a nice job of sealing the edge. Listen, did Mac Hollins have an egregious holding call on one of his long touchdown runs? Absolutely. Yeah. But there's holding on every play in the NFL. Sometimes you're going to get away with it. Sometimes you're not. It just is what it is, And so, it worked out. Did we score a touchdown on the play before? the play before the Stephon Diggs touchdown, if Will Campbell doesn't get dragged down by the defensive tackle? We sure do.
Well,
so
to be fair, I think if you call that one correctly, there's going to be 2 holding penalties, one on the offense, one on
you're probably not wrong.
Somehow Jared Wilson, the defender, and then Will Campbell form a human chain there, interlocking arms.
That's a great point. Great point. So,
yeah, but it's you play the game out that's played out there. They did a good job. Tonga on defense deserves credit here, by the way, because I know we're giving it to him at fullback. Watching back the tape, Tonga and Corey Durden, Durden quickly becoming he was why did this guy make the roster 2 months ago, and now it's he is good when he's out there. He is strong. He makes some good plays, has a bunch of QB hits. And then there was I don't know if you saw in the Sights and Sounds clip or whatever, but when Diggs scores the end of the half touchdown, Durden's the first guy off the bench from the defense sprinting down the sideline to go celebrate.
I love it.
So
this team has a lot of good vibes. And listen, winning cures all, and winning makes everyone happy. And everything's rosy when you're winning. But I do think this team is approaching it the right way. There's going to be a lot of scrutiny on the Patriots these last few weeks, right? We got what, we're 10 games in, we got 7 games left. So it's going to be a lot of scrutiny on the Patriots these last 7 games. And part of that is because we're looking at it saying, well, the 5 games that you have that aren't the Bills and the Ravens, you should win all of those easily. That's not always how it works in the NFL. Right. And so you saw that this weekend with the Bills. Right. And so, can they keep up what they're doing? Can they stay focused on what they have to do and come out and play hard every single week and not make those bad mistakes? And what's going to happen when the weather turns bad? Right. And if Drake May's playing in the elements, Drake May's playing in the cold or the snow or the rain, that's one of those things that I'll be curious to see. But I will say, I think I'm very happy with where this team is at right now. I think this week solidifies the fact that I'm happy they didn't make a move at the trade deadline, because I think that you have something good with the guys that you have. I don't think you needed to bring anyone else in. Maybe you could have brought in a 4th running back, but whatever, dude. Some schmuck running back you bring in isn't going to have that big of an impact. It's just not going to. And so if you outside of barring the fact that you would get a true dominant player, I just didn't think you needed someone here. And I think that I'm happy with where they're at right now.
I agree and disagree at the same time. I agree that I like the fact that you had the 2 rookies showing up at 2 spots where you think about adding guys. It was all right, that confirmed that we didn't need to add guys there. The fact that you're able to go down there and win this game would have made me a little bit more interested and willing to pay a higher price to invest in this year's version of the team. Right. I think you combine that with see how good Jalen Phillips was for the Eagles on Monday night. And I look at that and I'm like, all right, if I had this information, I may have been a little bit more willing to pay a price. Again, if you're paying a 3rd for Phillips, you have to sign him.
But you're not. You're not, though, because the report came out afterwards. And listen, maybe Miami wasn't going to trade Jalen.
I don't think that they could have gotten Jalen Phillips. I'm saying that from a Patriots perspective, with this information, I definitely would have been willing to offer a 3rd for him.
No, and I understand that. I just think you're not getting him for a 3rd. You're getting him for at least a 2nd, if not a 1st. And that's my point, is that I'm not sacrificing the future. Sure, would I have liked Jalen Phillips on his team? I absolutely would have. And if they had traded a 3rd round pick, 100%. If they had traded a 3rd round pick for Jalen Phillips, I would have applauded. If they had traded a 1st or a 2nd round pick for Jalen Phillips, I would not.
Yeah. And
so and realistically, especially with the reports that came out. Now, who knows how accurate those reports are, but especially with the reports came out that the Bills were aggressive with AFC's teams, and neither of them wanted to help the Bills out. You would think that the Dolphins would feel the same way. And so, That's
Oh, and I don't.
That's a situation, and TD's saying like a sixth and a third would not have gotten it done. Like I'm talking, you'd have to significantly beat out. And so whether it's a third and a fourth, or whether it's just a second or a second and a sixth, whatever the case may be,
2/3.
Yeah, even 2/3. Even 2/3 for me is a lot. That's a lot of draft capital.
Yeah,
Like that's too much.
My only point here is that for the price that he was actually traded at, I would have felt a lot more comfortable with that now than I was a week ago. Also, I definitely I think Caleb Von Chasen's our best edge now. I think he's playing better than Harold Landry.
Yeah.
And I think Landry has fallen off a little bit from where he was at the start of the season. It's not bad. It's just like you started on a heater and it's been fine since.
Right.
He's a clean.
I also wonder how healthy he is. And actually, Randy just mentioned it as I said that. But like, I wonder how healthy he is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Can I shout out a couple other things after the film session I did earlier today? One, Craig Woodson, man. Really good game from Craig Woodson. On there, so he has a couple pass breakups. I want to talk about the third down one late in a second, but there was one smaller play that I just wanted to shout out. Like, I think one of the issues the Patriots had this is their worst run defensive game of the year. They were playing a lot of plays out of like cover 4 defense or cover 2 defense. So you have a light box. That's just less bodies. There's going to be one gap open, and you need someone to make a play in the running game. And there's one where he's like 14 yards off the line of scrimmage, and he comes up into the hole and makes a form tackle. And it's like, oh, okay. Like that was like he sees it coming, wraps up. And like there's another one later where he sniffs out a run, makes a tackle, and like it's a physical tackle, and he's able to like wrap and do the full like alligator wrap where you're like turning and throwing the guy to the ground. And it's like, all right, this is that physicality they need in the run game to stop these plays from becoming explosives. So loved it there. The third down pass breakup at the end. So
awesome.
Some context for this, because the Buccaneers had kind of realized that if you just put 2 receivers in a stack, especially with the tight end being the second one, and have him release slower and just kind of settle underneath, he could find holes in the zone. They kind of kept going back to that, and they do that the play before. So on second down, they do that, and they pick up yards. They go immediately back to it on third down. The Patriots are in like an exotic defense. It's an inverted Tampa 2. So like they line up like it's cover 3 with one safety deep, and then that safety becomes like the middle of the field, like zone defender in the Tampa 2 defense, and they have 2 guys dropping back, except they don't end up having 2 guys dropping back. Woodson and Jalen Hawkins both think that they're the one that's supposed to drop back on their side of the field, and they both go. And Otten ends up in the hole where I believe it's Woodson is supposed to be, because Woodson thinks he's dropping, but he's supposed to be there. He very quickly recognizes that he needs to get there anyway, sees the concept developing, and just hammers him with the hit. And just the recovery speed there and agility, I think Woodson, like, his short area quickness, I think, has started to show up on tape now that things are processing faster for him mentally.
Yep, 100%. That play was awesome. The other play was, I believe it was the next play, right? Was the Baker play the next play? The Baker sack that wasn't a sack. Was that the very next play?
And that's
that play, which, by the way, is sickening that that's not counted as a sack, because Baker's in the grasp for like 2 seconds. But regardless, Baker gets out of it. And he's like falling to the ground, and he just shovels it over his head to Rashard White, who's standing there. And Woodson was watching the All-22 was wild, because Woodson's at the 12-yard line.
This is Hawkins.
I thought it was Woodson.
No, this is Hawkins making this play.
It was Hawkins? I don't know why I thought it was Woodson. Okay, either way. But okay, so Hawkins makes the play on it, and he's the 12. And he makes a tackle at like the 34-yard line. And for him to come up that fast, and this is when you're talking about not giving up on the play, understanding football IQ, what you're doing. You see Baker's going down, but you also see the eligible receiver that's right there. And so he comes up and then makes that play and takes him down, and you're just sitting there like, what a freaking play. Like, you don't realize, when you're just watching it, you don't realize how good of a play it was. And when they zoom out and you can see the all 22, you realize how far Hawkins had to go to make that play. It really was impressive. And, I think we were worried about the safeties. We were worried about the safety play. You talked about Woodson today. Woodson, I thought, had a really good game on Sunday. And then Hawkins makes a play like that, and I thought played pretty well as well. Not great, but pretty well. And I think that, that's the type of thing for me that I feel like these young safeties are getting there, right? Del Pettis made a nice play.
Yeah.
And so you just, you're hoping that the safeties can continue to develop where they are. And I just think they're playing so well right now, and it's awesome. And that was an awesome play, and a really high football IQ play.
And then, often not a safety, but was a safety, Marty Mapu. They're using him as a tight end stopper in man coverage in some of those passing situations. And he's been rock solid at it. I don't really trust him as a zone defender yet, but as a man coverage guy on Otten, he blanketed him. They only went to it 2 or 3 times, but he was all over him every time they did that. So heads up there. I do have a new least valuable person from this game.
Who's that?
That is, it could be one of a couple of people. It's either like the equipment manager for the Patriots or the staff down there in Tampa that managed the grass. The Patriots players were slipping all over the field.
Yep.
Constant issue the entire game. So I think equipment manager, we got to make sure the players have the right cleats for that kind of situation. And I look ahead. You're going to have a big game in Baltimore in December. I believe they have natural grass. Yeah, they have a grass field there. And you're going to have to defend both Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson in that running game. The way they attack you side to side, you need your guys to be quick. You need your guys to be able to play in that environment. So I think that's the next time they play on grass. You need to take your lessons from this and make sure that you have the right. Yeah, you need to make sure that you have the right cleating situation for that, because you've got Marcus Jones slipping, Carlton Davis, Christian Gonzalez. Like, you can't, especially if you're gonna play man coverage, you can't play man coverage if guys are gonna slip like that. You kind of have to play softer because you can't play as fast.
I agree.
And that was a problem early on in the game, like right from one of the first plays.
Yeah. You saw it a few times from a few different guys, and I think you're right. It's something they got to get figured out. 2 other plays. One play is the Travion Henderson long touchdown run. I just and TD mentions here, like, I just love the fact that he's looking at the sideline, asking them if he should score, right? And the heads up. First of all, the speed to be that far ahead of guys that he can do that, right? Like, and be like, oh yeah, I have the time to look over the sideline. But the fact that he's doing that, and then, just a heads up play to do it, I thought was great. And then the last play of the game for the Patriots, the last true play of the game for the Patriots, onside kick, Stephon Diggs, high paid player, quote unquote diva receiver, right? Who, whatever, right? People could talk whatever they want to talk about him. That ball goes up in the air, and you're going to get crushed. I mean, you're going to get crushed. You can't protect yourself because you got to full extend all the way up, and you're getting smacked. And he comes down with that thing and took a shot. And that, to me, the fact that it was Diggs, I just love the fact that it was Diggs, because he's a guy that he talks a lot, but he backs it up, and he's been backing it up, and he's been talking to, I love how he talked about he was hard on Travion in the locker room. He's hard on Travion, and it's that type of guy where you see that and you're like, oh shit. Like, if he's doing that, if Diggs, the high priced number 1 wide receiver, is doing that, I better be doing that and more, and I think that that's really, to me, like, personifies what this Patriots team is this year, and I loved seeing that.
When I want to add on to that, you go over to the defense. Milton Williams was talking about how he needs to be a guy that, is always going to play through the whistle and always rally to the ball and always be the highest effort player out there. Like, that's just what you do. And the fact that these are 2 of your signature free agent additions. guys are bringing in from the outside. And it's like, you're bringing these guys in because they're good at football. You're not necessarily bringing them in because what they do for your locker room, and the fact that they're also doing this for your locker room.
Yeah.
And we talked about this, these guys aren't Tom Brady, but we talked about one of the Tom Brady advantages for forever was that he's the best player on the team. He's making more money than everyone else. And he's setting that tone of what the standard is for everyone by, he's not playing through the whistle as a quarterback, but obviously the stuff you do in meetings and all that.
Yep.
And it's not the same impact, but it's that same genre of the guys who are paid the most are willing to do all the dirty things that it takes to win. So therefore, everyone else knows we got to do that, or we're not gonna be here.
But you see it, and you see it from the leaders in the team, right? Vrabel today gives them the opportunity to practice inside, and they say, "No, we're practicing outside. Yeah, it's going to be colder than it is on Thursday night. We don't care. Like, we need to be ready. This team needs to be ready for January. We're going to practice outside." May says, no shortcuts. There's no shortcuts here. Like, we're playing outside. This is we play in the elements. This is what we have to do, right? We're not a dome team. So when we get a chance to practice outside, we're going to do it. And I think that, that speaks volumes to who they are. Vrabel talked about how he was going to cut 25 minutes out of the meeting time. He's like, listen, I can cut 25 minutes. Like, no, it's too important. We can't be cutting minutes out of the meetings. And I think that what's interesting to me is that I think, and I don't know for sure, right? I'm not in Mike Vrabel's head. But I think to me that Vrabel's giving them those opportunities with the hope that they're going to turn around and say, no, we don't want that. Because he wants to instill in them that they're going above and beyond, that they're pushing themselves to be better, that, hey, you don't have to do this. And then they're saying, no, but we want to do this. This is how things need to be done. This is how we're going to win. Because he can go to the leaders and say that. And then the leaders can say, no, this is the way things have to be done. This is the way we're going to win. This is the way, that we do things around here. And I think that speaks volumes to who they have here and the types of players that, that they want to win with. And I just think like that to me it was just impressive, and I'm happy to see it. And again, I think it's a little bit of mind games with Vrabel where it's like, I'm going to give you these opportunities. I'm really hoping that you say no to them, but I'm going to give you these opportunities anyways. And then we can show the rest of the team that like, no, like we're not taking shortcuts here. Yeah, it's the Jets. Yeah, they suck. We don't care. Like, we have to prepare because any team could beat any team any week. And I think that's awesome.
Well, and then the flip side of it, when you let the players have the input on the decisions like this, when you know that they're buying in on a short week like this with the meetings and stuff, that means that if you give them the opportunity to turn down a meeting later and they take it, that they're being honest, that they really do need it for themselves, and and that you can respect it. There's a trust and accountability that goes both ways in a way that, like I said, it's that kind of modern approach to coaching where it's the modern tough guy. I think this is what it looks like, where it's that player empowerment of, if things are tough, like, we are willing to accommodate you and make things work because we want you to be at your best and we want you to buy in. The flip side of that is that we want you to be willing to accommodate and go above and beyond to win.
Right.
And, pulling that together this week, short week, Thursday night. Should we do an ad break and get into this one?
Yeah, let's do that. Also, Randy says, can't make you be great. You have to choose to be great. So good. It's true. It's true. Like, that's, very true. And if that's what he's subscribing to, that's what we got. But yes, let's take an ad break, and then we will go from there. This ad, of course, is for Prize Picks, the best place to turn your sports knowledge into cash. America's #1 daily fantasy sports app, obviously, as we know. And the hard-hitting football schedule is even better with Prize Picks. The weather's changing, but the feeling of getting right never gets old. Again, Prize Picks is the only app that offers stacks, which means you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. Do you want to pick more on, yes, more on Drake May, yards, passing yards, rushing yards, and touchdowns? You can pick all 3 in the same lineup only on Prize Picks. You can also follow other Prize Picks players directly on the app and copy their lineups in one click. Whether it's a friend, a celebrity picker, or just someone whose picks you like, hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on Prize Picks. New feed tab is pretty nice. My feed, not great this week. Not great this week, fellas. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize. I got one right, but I got the other two very wrong. Just what are you going to do? Is what it is. What are you going to do? You're going to download the app Prize Picks. You're going to put in the promo code CLNS. And when you do that, you're going to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks to get $50 lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Okay. So let's talk about this week. Can I mention something before we do, though? Because TD mentioned it, and I wanted to talk about it. TD said it reminds him of 2001, and I've actually been kind of bouncing around this idea on Pat's poll, but I gotta write the article. But everyone keeps talking about the free agent class, and it's been a phenomenal free agent class. 2001 is the greatest free agent class in the history of the NFL. It is like, and it's not even close. It's really not even close. It's just when you go back and you look at it, you're like, this is just every single guy that they got. You talk about Antoine Smith, a guy who might be familiar with Mike Vrabel, Roman Pfeiffer, Terrell Buckley, Mike Compton, Brian Cox, Mark Edwards, Damon Heward, Larry Izzo, David Patton, Anthony Pleasant. You're just like, and the list goes on, right? But you just like every single one of those guys was a contributor.
Did you say Terrell Buckley? I think he was.
I believe I did say Terrell Buckley, but maybe I didn't. I did. I said Terrell Buckley, but nevertheless, it's every single one of those guys, and you're like, oh, Patton just catches like, oh, he caught the only offensive touchdown in the Super Bowl. That's kind of a big deal. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's just they all were huge contributors, and then you look at the draft in 01. And, the Patriots draft in 01 wasn't perfect, but you get Richard Seymour at the top who like helped just a little bit. You know what I mean? And so you think, you look at that team and you say, this is the gold standard, right? Is the gold standard. But honestly, you look at Seymour, and obviously the second round pick was Matt Light. So that one kind of helped too. It's pretty,
yes,
not a bad first two picks there. But that's the gold standard for team building in 1 year, right? They already had a lot of really good players. Their roster looked a lot better than this roster did before the season. But that's the gold standard for team building in 1 year. And what the Patriots have done this year with Diggs and Williams and Hollins and Tonga and Moses and, Bradbury's played really well. And, you look at these and Spillane, and Landry and Chasen, and you're just looking around and even Carlton Davis, and you're looking at who they, and you're like, every single one of these guys has paid off. Every single one of them. And, and maybe some of them haven't been quite as good as people wanted them to be, but they all are contributing to what the Patriots are doing right now. And then you look at the draft class, and you're saying, Will Campbell's starting left tackle, and he's been above average. Jared Wilson's playing left guard, and he's been pretty good. Craig Woodson's rounding into form. Travion Henderson had a huge game. Kyle Williams showed off his speed. And you're like, okay, Joshua Farmer's played pretty well as a rotational defensive tackle. And the Patriots have built this roster back in 1 year. And again, are they one of the best rosters in the NFL right now? No. But right now, who they have is gelling together and playing together extremely well. And it's happened with guys that weren't there last year. And it's really incredible to see. And some of them are veterans, some of them are young. But my goodness, the change from this year to last year is obviously the coaching is different, and the coaching has been phenomenal. But the players that you've gotten, it's my goodness, it's been fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I also didn't realize until right now in 01 the Patriots drafted a kicker.
Did they?
Yeah,
did the hell they draft?
Owen Pochman.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Did not make the team.
It's funny because my dad just
Giants.
texted me and said, "Don't forget the kicker," because he's right. He's right.
Yeah.
Borregales has been great since week 2.
Yeah, no, he's been nails. Yeah, well, it's obviously we just did the thing on the 0-3 Pats, and I think there's some similarities there. This team has blown out more opponents than the 0-3 Pats did. That's for sure.
That's definitely.
But I think it definitely has that same feeling of like, when that transition into October hits, all of a sudden things are like humming, and the way it has coalesced attention around the Patriots out of kind of like thin air in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember 0-1, but from what we did in 0-3, I think there's some similarities there. We obviously will see how this ends, but the Patriots have a very real chance of getting, like, not just winning AFC East, but getting the number 1 seed in the AFC right now. If you don't mess up and you split the games between Buffalo and Baltimore, you have very, very good odds of having home field advantage in the playoffs and a bye, which is insane. But to do that, got to be the Jets this week.
Well, that's 100%. I agree with you. By the way, Jack mentions Dan Copen. He was actually in the 0-3 draft class, not the 0-1 draft class. But
Patriots legend.
Yes, Patriots legend Dan Copen. But this Jets game is interesting because Justin Fields had arguably the worst passing day I've ever seen from a quarterback who also won the game. He was 6 for 11 for 54 yards passing. 6 for 11 for 54 yards passing. And one of his completions went for 42 yards, and that pass was completed behind the line of scrimmage.
It was a screen.
Quick
screen to Brees Hall.
So you're talking about 5 for 10 for 12 yards, and I believe like 2 of his other completions were also completed behind the line of scrimmage.
And then I believe they lost 12 yards due to sacks. So for net passing yards, it's the one screen touchdown to Brees Hall.
Right. That's literally it.
Well, I think what's interesting about this, so the Jets obviously just sold big time at the trade deadline. They're getting rid of guys. But dare I say the Jets are hot right now?
Yeah.
They have not lost in almost a month.
It's true.
They lose 13-6 to the Carolina Panthers at home. But then go to Cincinnati and score 39 points, have a bye week, and then beat the Browns last week. So they go from 0-7 to 2-7 here. And I think you look at them, obviously not a good team, but a team with some talented players, some young players who have felt a spark as of late. Now, I will say that with the caveat. They had 169 yards of total offense on Sunday. Obviously, that Browns defense is good. The entire offense, one screen pass to Brees Hall, the running game, and then they had 2 special teams touchdowns. That's how they scored. So it's not, and they scored 39 on the Bengals defense. I don't think that actually counts in any way that's meaningful to transfer.
The Bengals defense is just
anything you do against the Bengals defense, anything you do about the Cowboys defense against them, like those, you just throw those out in terms of like extrapolating those.
Next week's gonna be so much fun because Drake May's gonna throw for 600 yards against the Bengals defense. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, but what's fascinating about the Jets is that they're finding ways to win. Instead of finding ways to lose, they're finding ways to win. And sometimes when you sell, like you did at the deadline, yes, you're moving on from these high-priced guys. But you're moving on and saying, we're resetting here, but we're not tanking. We're not trying to lose. We're moving on from those guys because we're rebuilding and we want to rebuild with the guys in the building right now. That's where we're starting from. We're starting with you guys. Now, go out and prove you belong here. Right? And so for the guys that are in the room, now they have that extra incentive to say, hey, we got to prove this. We got to prove that we're the guys that belong here. And so, if the head coach can hit the right tones and, talk the way that he needs to talk and convince the guys that he needs to convince, then there's a chance that they get going and it's good. But, again, Azaria Thomas, who's the guy that replaced Sauce Gardner, hasn't practiced yet this week. He's not looking good to play. Garrett Wilson probably
Out.
most likely is not going to play. He's out 3 to 4 weeks. Reported by the head coach. I mean, Rich Kamini, who did. I don't know if you saw that press conference today. It was incredible.
I didn't see the clip.
It was so good. They asked him, you know, can we get the report? And he's like, you can ask Rich. And they go, well, yeah, but you're the head coach. You're standing there. And he goes, no. He goes, he's the one that gave you the information. They go, well, he's not here. He's not here. He goes, well, we better call him then because, you know, you can get the report from him. And it was so good. I was like, it's just so great.
That's very funny. Yeah, I think so. The guys who will play in this one, though, the flip side of this, it's a Jets team that is not good, but does kind of have two strengths.
Mm-hmm.
They're good at running the ball.
Mm-hmm.
They have a pass rush. So, like, they have allowed a lot of yards on the ground. You can run on them, and they're not going to throw on you. So it's a very interesting matchup where it's like, if you were to make the case for how the Jets pull this upset, it's going to be that their pass rush gets home. They're able to stifle New England's offense there, and because when our rushing attack can't take advantage of their weaknesses, meanwhile their rushing attack gets going, and they get a couple special teams plays in there or a turnover or something like that. With their guys on offense, no Garrett Wilson. It's going to be Arian Smith, Tyler Johnson, John Mechie. They traded for A.B. Mitchell. He didn't play last week. I don't know if he's going to be good to go yet. He's listed on the injured list on our lads, but he's not listed on the injury report today for the Jets. I don't know exactly what his status is going to be. The offensive line is good. You know, there's going to be some names here. Patriots fans are going to know. You're going to go against Olu Fashanu. You're going to go against Armand Membu. You're going to go against Mason Taylor, Breece Hall, someone that Patriots fans wanted. And I think if you're the Jets here, game plan wise, I mean, you're trying to run to the outside, right? Jet sweeps, Patriots have been vulnerable on, and you're looking for quick hitters underneath.
Right.
And that's where the Jets, like the one offensive touchdown they had on Sunday, they caught the Browns in a blitz look, hit them with a quick screen to the outside, and Breece Hall's very good, and we'll take that to the house.
Yeah.
When you see this Jets passing attack, and especially these receivers, you look at it and say, why are we going to put 7 guys in coverage? Let's blitz them, because we know Fields is going to take sacks. We know he's not going to get the ball out fast. We know if we can collapse the pocket, he won't have anywhere to run, and we don't think they can beat us over the top. So, like, defensively, your game plan has to be you have to be able to do that without giving up some of those big plays.
Yeah, and that's going to be a big point of contention. And I agree with you. Now, listen, the Patriots allowed a 50-yard rusher for the first time all year to Sean Tucker, as everyone predicted. And it just, this is the week where you have to continue to step up. And listen, they may have a 50-yard rusher. The Buccaneers ran the ball okay on the Patriots, but not anything special. They had a few nice runs from Tucker, and that's kind of where we got over that 50-yard hump. But you have to limit the rushing attack. If you can limit the rushing attack, you don't have to send 1 million guys on blitzes. You just don't have to. Because to me, Justin Fields can't pick you apart. He can't. And so let him take time back there. Go ahead. Go ahead and take some time back there. Because you can't hit these guys anyways. And so if we can get one guy free, I thought Elijah Ponder had a really nice rep on his sack, against a very good left tackle in Tristan Wirfs. And we saw the numbers with Myles Garrett this week weren't great. Myles Garrett killed the Patriots, had a tough time against Fashanu and Membu. But how many real pass reps did he get? 12? It's just he's not getting a lot of pass rush reps. And so, it's hard to kind of even have that as like as a point there. To me, it's a question of, can you win the pass rush up the middle and force Fields to do something with the ball? Again, I think for me, I mentioned it here, like, you got to have a spy on the quarterback, because if Justin Fields can take off and run, that's where they can beat you, is Justin Fields just going nuts running the ball. And so, we'll see what happens. at the end of the day. But I think the Patriots should be able to stop this team. I think their strength on defense is their rush defense. They should be able to at least contain, if not stop, at least contain Breece Hall enough to the point where they're not going to be losing to the Jets because of Breece Hall running the ball. And then offensively, you have to be able to run the ball effectively if you're the Patriots. You just have to, because you can't let them just tee off. Will McDonald's a very good pass rusher. You can't just let them tee off and come at you because you can't run the ball. You have to be able to run the ball effectively. And so, listen, this is what it comes down to. But I just think the Patriots are so much better than the Jets that they should come out on this Thursday night and just crush them. But
that's what you hope for.
We'll see.
Well, I think I want to be aggressive on defense. I think only like I think you want to put like eight or nine guys in the box when you can, just because I think the Jets they're going to want to run on you. That's what the identity of this team is. Mm-hmm. And I'm just not. If Justin Fields beats you over the top, Justin Fields beats you over the top with a throw.
Yeah,
like make him do that. He likes to check it down. Justin Fields only has one pick this season. He doesn't take risks when he throws the ball.
No.
So like, I wouldn't even bother trying to bring a whole lot of like disguised coverages or anything. I don't think this is a game you win schematically in any crazy way. I think you do it by like just saying, we don't think you can run on us or we don't think you can throw on us. So we're going to load the box against you. And we're going to make sure that we take away every single running lane that you could possibly have.
Yeah. Breece Hall's the only guy. If he's split out, go on with them. Don't spread the box. I don't care who's under center. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and they've been fine running the ball in early downs. But like, if you can the second you get them behind the chains, it's pretty much over for them.
They're in trouble. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's unlike, dare them to somehow beat you over the top on first and second down. And that's what I'm doing. And then with that, it's like, all right, don't give free releases to the tight end. Like, this isn't like Cade Otton's able to crush you last week, in large part because Baker's a good quarterback and they have fast athletic receivers in Tampa and they can stretch you down the field, and you have to respect that. And then the tight end kind of gets lost in the wash underneath or gets a favorable matchup. No one's doing that on this New York team. Fields isn't demanding that down the field, and the receivers are not demanding that attention down the field. So, like, just make sure you got a guy on the tight end who's not Jack Gibbons, and I don't think Gibbons is awful and covered. I think he actually made some nice plays. He plays like a backup for that. So, like, if Christian Ellis is back this week, like, all right, just stick him near Mason Taylor and tell him, hey, like, sit on him. Like, if he beats you with like some kind of double move or something and he beats you deep and they're able to go over the top, so be it. But like, if you can sit on everything early on downs, I don't think they're going to have any chance of moving the ball on
you. Yeah, I can see that. Can I ask you a crazy question?
Hit me.
Would you think about putting Carlton Davis on Mason Taylor?
Potentially,
6'1", 205, like physical corner. They don't really have anyone that scares me on the outside, and so you have Gonzo as one of your outside corners, and you put Marcus Jones on the outside, as your other outside corner.
I think it depends on alignment. Like I don't know if I want Carlton Davis in the box. I think
I don't
part of
it.
it.
That makes sense.
So that's where I'm like I might play a lot of. I mean, I thought Del Pettis has looked good when they've asked him to man up on a tight end. I think Marty Mapu has looked good at that. It's just, do you trust those guys in run defense? And if you feel comfortable with those guys in run defense, then all right, maybe you just play a lot of big nickel with Del Pettis or Woodson or I mean Mapu's a linebacker, but like one of those body
same
types
idea.
in the box to take care of the safety in man coverage. And also, like, I don't know exactly what the Jets' personnel splits are here, but like they might just put two tight ends in the field a lot. I should look this up. I'm gonna look that up while we keep talking about it.
I'm just curious about it because Mason Taylor to me feels like the only receiving threat obviously outside of Breece Hall, feels like the only receiving threat that can really beat you. I mean, I'm not worried about getting beat by any of the Jets receivers, like actual wide receivers. They don't scare me at all. If A.D. Mitchell plays, I guess you put Gonzo on him, but like, is A.D. Mitchell scare you as a number one receiver? I mean, he has the ability to make big plays. We've seen it with the Colts. I think Gonzo just erases him, if he covers him. So he's gone. He's out of the picture. Like, if that's the case. And then it's like, okay, now what? Who else are you going to be in? And can you move? The thing is that like Abuka got open a lot of times because they were able to move him around the formation, and they put him in, inside. They move him in the slot. They put him in motion before. How much can you do with A.D. Mitchell? He didn't practice last week. He just got here. He didn't practice last week, and so like he's practicing this week, I guess. But like, is he going to understand the intricacies of the offense where you're going to be putting him outside and in the slot? I don't think so. So you're probably just going to say, go stand over there and run this route, like, I don't know. And so to me, you can erase that with a guy like Gonzo.
So the Jets actually play almost exclusively, not exclusively, but like relative to average out of 11. So they like 3 receivers on the field. So it'll be, now obviously that's when they had Garrett Wilson healthy. So maybe they changed that. But like, I mean, look down the depth chart here. It's like, all right, would you rather have Jeremy Ruckert or like Stone Smart on the field as your tight end too, or put John Mechie on the? Well, John Mechie probably gonna play anyway. But like Isaiah Williams on the field,
right?
Like that's going to be kind of the question they're asking themselves here. I think.
Well, that's the thing. Like Jazz asked about Alan Lazardi has 7 catches this year, like all year.
He hasn't. Yeah, he hasn't. Our lads has him all the way down the depth chart. Is their 7th wide receiver?
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about that. And I wonder, do you play more zone in this game than you do? I don't know. I'm not sure how they go with it because he's right. Because Randy's right. Like Arian Smith is fast, but like that doesn't do anything for you. He's not like a good receiver or anything like that. So
yeah. And you could put Marcus Jones on him, and I guess if you're worried about something here, it's going to be. If we're putting Marcus Jones in the box to cover some of these guys, can they run at him because he's smaller? And then
he doesn't. He plays well in the running game, so it's not like I know he's small, but it's.
Well, you could probably pick up a couple first downs that way. Can you sustain 60 minutes offense that way? I don't think so.
Right.
What else are they going to try?
Ultimately, for me, what it comes down to is that if the Patriots play their game, they should win this game easily. The way you lose is the way you lost the Steelers. And maybe not to that extent, but the way you lose is by shooting yourself in the foot, is by not taking care of the football, is by allowing big plays on defense. And so if those types of things happen, you lose this game because the Jets have shown that they can find ways to win, right? I mean, that they were done. That Bengals game, that game was over. They were done. And they came back and won that game at the end. And credit to them for doing that. And so, and I know it's the Bengals defense, but it doesn't matter who it is. Like, they still were able to do it. And I think that, they're playing with a lot of bravado right now and a lot of, confidence right now, similar to what the Patriots are doing. Clearly, the Patriots are a more talented team, but they're playing with a lot of confidence right now. Their head coach is coaching with a lot of confidence right now. And so, you win 2 straight games like that, and it doesn't matter how ugly they are. It doesn't matter who you're playing against. It doesn't matter. None of that stuff makes a difference because at the end of the day, all you got to do is be a little bit better on a few plays. And if that's what they can go out and do on Thursday night, and the Patriots don't take care of the football and they take this game lightly for whatever reason, or a few things don't go their way, they can lose that game. The good thing is that the Patriots, when things don't go their way, they've rebounded very well, right? Yes. Drake May could have turtled after he threw that interception in the end zone. You're up 5 points. You're thinking, oh, my God, like, what am I doing? We had a chance to go up 8 at least, throw the ball away. What the hell's wrong with you? Nope, they come back down and score a touchdown. And I think that, that's the thing for me where I look at it and say, okay, like they have that. Mentally, they feel good about it, and they're in a good spot. So I expect a win from the Patriots. 12.5 points is up. 12.5 points is a hell of a lot of points. I'm probably going to take the points because it's a Thursday night game. But, I expect to win by 7 to 10 points.
Yeah, NFL Pro has it at 13.5 now.
It's a
The
lot
line.
of points, dude.
This is the first Patriots home primetime game since week 2 of the 2023 season, the Cole Strange game, if you will,
God,
against the Miami
yes.
Dolphins. So this is not something that has happened often here. I want to go back for a second. This is
The
a
2 in a
random.
row for the Patriots. Obviously, not 2 weeks in a row, but 2 home games in a row. That will be primetime games.
Yep. All right. Now I have okay. Here's something for you. The last time the Patriots wore navy blue jerseys at home at night was the Bears Monday Night Football debacle, because they've only played 3 home primetime games since then, or two since then. The Bills game, the Thursday Night
Red.
Football game, and then the Dolphins game, the Thursday Night Football game. We're in the
Also
red
red.
throwbacks for both of
Yep.
those, and now we're gonna get the rivalries tomorrow.
Yep.
Or
And then the
Thursday.
red ones on Monday night.
Yeah. Would love to see them
So-
just break out the blue and silver for a one of the primetime home games at one point here. 'Cause
Well,
again,
the Bills game, I assume, is going to get flexed. I doubt it will go all the way to Sunday
No.
night. I'm sure it'll be 4:30.
can they? I don't know if they're even that one might. Someone was doing an analysis of that, and that one might just like end up getting stuck at 1:00.
It's insane to me that would be a 1:00 game. That's insane to me that would be a 1:00 game, especially if it's for the AFC East. Like, that's crazy.
Pats Ravens, though, is almost a lock for Sunday Night Football. So
Yeah,
that will get moved, and that'll be a road primetime game.
yeah. So
But yeah, when the Patriots have the ball here, real quick, I think it's just find a way to run. Ramondre Stevenson's back at practice, so like I'm running a lot in this one. And I think Drake May is going to play well. And I think you can beat them through the air. But I mean, the Jets have a decent pass defense, I think top half of the league, and you can win this game running. So, and then the only other key to victory: don't mess up on special teams.
100%, 100%. To me, Thursday Night Football is about who's the better coached team and who's the better prepared team. It's those two things is really what matters. And I hope the Patriots are the better coached and prepared team. I think they are, but we'll see Thursday night.
Hopefully Vrabel has that same hatred of the Jets that Bill Belichick did.
I hope he will. Hopefully it's been instilled in him from his years in the Patriots. We'll see what happens. But also, James has a request here. Can you please discuss the Northeaster uniforms at length, whilst Pass occasionally shrieks out like those amazing Matt Doloff, Felger, Mass Everything Sucks videos? Shout out Matt Doloff, because those videos are incredible and they get better every week. And the Maz screaming bit is hysterical. What do you think about the Northeaster?
I really like them. I'm also a little bit concerned they're not going to look quite as cool actually on the field as they do in the promo shoots.
Yeah.
So I think I'll start with the stripe on the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
I think they did a really good job of blending that classic, like the over the shoulder stripe that we've seen in New England for forever, with the current uniforms, with the throwback uniforms, that kind of design, with the tail of the Patriots logo.
Yeah.
And like, it's a really good way to nod to the 90s Patriots uniforms that had the big Patriot on the shoulders.
Yep.
While keeping it within kind of the constraints of what has been the typical Patriots uniform, which also kind of like the Dynasty uniform. The Dynasty uniforms have the silver stripe. It's just one color stripe, but it is kind of that arcing thing over the shoulders. So I think they found a way to do something that is new, that's clearly modern, that's clearly different, that also 100% fits within the Patriots brand. That I think is awesome. The like detailing on the numbers clearly an homage to the 90s team, and with the detailing on them, I think they look really cool. So like all that stuff, and like the red stars on the collar and all that stuff, I think look really cool. I like the fact that they're sticking to like a classic color combo too. Like, if you wanted, you could use this as an excuse to be like, all right, we're gonna go wear head to toe black, or like we're gonna go wear head to toe navy. We're gonna break out a navy helmet and do something like that. And it's like, no, this looks like a football uniform. So it's like, all right, we got like the white, the blue, the white, the blue. It's like contrasting colors and all that. My biggest concern here is that like it's kind of like a doled out blue, and it looks great, but then we might see it on the field, and it's like, oh, it kind of looks like they're just wearing gray jerseys with white pants, and like and you won't see any of the red that's in there in limited quantities from a distance, and it might just kind of look washed out.
Yeah,
and kind of boring.
I hear that. By the way,
they look great.
Storm Blue, as James is requesting. But no, I honestly, I'll tell you, I didn't love him when I first saw him. I didn't love him in the promotional shoots. I've been to the pro shop since, and you get to see it up close. And when you see the jersey, at least for me, when I saw the jersey up close, I was like, okay, I get it. It looks good. Like, I like the color of it. It's a little bit more blue than I expected. It's almost like a different shade. I don't know how to explain it. It's a little bit of a different shade of blue. I am worried, like you said, I am worried that it does look a little too gray on the actual broadcast. But I think they look cool. I like them. I think the players like them a lot. I mean, who knows? That's what they say. I mean, what are they else going to say, right? This looks stupid. But
I've never seen one of those where the players hate the uniform.
Right.
Not once.
No, of course not. Even when they're ugly. The one thing I wish they did is they kept the red tails. I wish they had kept the red tails on the Patriots logo. I know that they want the logo to kind of all be the same color, but if they had kept those red tails, and I also think if they had kept the red tails on the Patriots logo here, right, on the helmet, and then they had done that on the sleeve as well, that would have been really cool. That if they had done like the
stripe too,
right, so that all that, like, that one stripe would have been red here on the pant and then on the back of the logo. That would have looked really cool because that red would have popped a lot more. But it's
well, and it's like it is clearly something that like will look good as a fashion jersey. Like if you buy one of these and wear it, it looks fantastic. They look good in person. The detail work is fantastic. It's just that when you're watching a football game, like you're watching from, pretty far away. Like the TV, most of the time you're not going to see most of those details. And like,
well,
maybe they just end up looking. Maybe they'll end up looking a little bland there. But I mean, that's fine.
I think I'm going to buy the winter hat. I love the beveled NE logo. I love it. It looks like this one, but it's got it's real nice. So I think I'm going to get the I was looking into like a sweatshirt or a t-shirt or something like that, but I like the hat has the 6 stars on it too. It looks cool. So I think that's what I'm going to end up doing. But
so what are they going to? So, like, I don't know the specifics of the rivalry program. I don't know if this is a 1-year thing or if we wear these next year too.
So I don't know, but I think that they're introducing them in, like, because what did they do? Did they do two
divisions?
2 divisions. So I think they'll do 2 divisions again next year.
I know it's 2 divisions next year. I just don't know if we also still keep.
It's a good question. Like, do the Patriots have? Then does every team have a rivalry game, and then by the end, every team has one rivalry game,
and it's like
a year? I don't know.
But then my follow-up question to that: so they've got the 6 red stars on the collar, right?
Yes.
For the 6 Super Bowls?
No.
Oh, it's for the 6 New England States.
It's for the 6. So
I was going to say, like, what happens when we have to change the number of stars next year was going to be my question. But
right, yeah. Oh goodness!
No, I think they're fun. If you've played Madden at all, by the way, it has an alternate field design for this game. I don't know if that's reflective of what's actually going to happen.
That'd be kind of cool.
Don't get too excited. It's literally just them replacing the Patriots logo at midfield with the one with like the storm blue in it. Like the same one from the helmet, and then the end zones are actually painted, but in the storm blue color. Which we've never had a game with painted end zones at Gillette Stadium.
That would be kind of cool. So, but we'll see.
Which I always thought it'd be fun if they did painted end. I know they didn't do the painted end zones because you got to share with the soccer team, and it's just like that's way like.
Of course.
Like Seattle, for example, they share their stadium with a soccer team, and they don't paint the end zones until after soccer season, and then they paint them navy blue to lock it in.
That's fair. Yeah.
But they never did that in New England. They just stuck to the plain.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Can I have a kind of boomer-ish NFL rivalries uniform take over here real quick?
Sure.
One of the most anticipated matchups in the NFL right now, it's Rams Seahawks with what's going on out there. And I just discovered yesterday that both of the Rams Seahawks games this year are rivalries games.
Lame.
And I here's the thing, I like the Seahawks ones. The Seahawks ones I think look really cool. The Rams one just looks like if you put their uniform into Microsoft Paint and hit the paint bucket with black on all the spots that were royal blue before. And it's like, okay, well this looks cheap, tacky, and not like the Rams. Like you look like a high school team that wants to look like the Rams.
Right. Yeah, it's not great.
Well, that's the problem with some of these league-wide things is that, there's only so many cool new things you can do, and also the people making decisions for each team do not necessarily always have the best taste. That's when it was like Nike gets a lot of blame for some of the bad uniforms we've seen in the NFL. The blame belongs on the franchises. They are basically contracting with Nike to design things, but then they choose the direction they go and which one gets picked. The teams are the ones making that decision. And it's like, I don't know, some of the people that make these decisions for teams are just not that good at it, or at least they have taste that is very different from what mine is. I'll put it politely.
Right. Yeah, we'll see. Anyways, all right. I think that's it. We did over 10 minutes on uniforms here. You got anything else?
Only, and we can probably end up touching more on this after the game, but I do think it's worth calling out now. This is the first Sunday of the year, I believe. Yeah, first Sunday of the year without Patriots football.
Without Patriots football. Yep.
So the slate this week is actually kind of crazy. And I just want to call out a couple games. Have you looked at the schedule for Sunday, Pat?
Bills Bucs. I'm excited about Bills Bucs.
So, Bills Bucs is a 1:00 game.
It's wild that that's a 1:00 game.
We also have Bengals Steelers in the 1:00, which is, Steelers still on top of the AFC North. Bengals trying to make a push here, especially if Joe Burrow is going to be coming back. It should be an interesting game. I don't know if it'll be good, but meaningful.
He, by the way, said he expects to be back by week 13. Now, that doesn't mean he won't be back week 12 against the Patriots. But he did say he expects to be back week 13. So,
yeah. We've got Bears at Vikings. So J.J. McCarthy against Caleb Williams. This is just the 1:00 window.
Yes.
J.J. versus Caleb in the 1:00. Bears at 6-3 right now. I think
they are.
They've got a win streak going here. The Bears are playing well. Then the 4:00. We've got Seahawks Rams at 4:05 and Chiefs Broncos at 4:25.
Mm-hmm.
Which we have to be Chiefs fans for the next 2 weeks here.
I agree.
And then the Sunday night game is Lions at Eagles.
Yeah, that's going to be a really good game, too.
So that is just – and then there's also a 9:30 game, which is Commanders-Dolphins, which should be fun to laugh at. I don't expect anything. Don't watch
the Sunday morning game or the Monday night game. But outside of those games, there's a lot of good games. Yeah, it's it's one of those things that I think that the Patriots not playing is pretty cool because you get to sit down and watch some football, which is nice. So
yeah, this would be a good day for it. And there's a couple of these coming up for the Patriots because we have a Monday night game coming up too.
Yes,
so
we do.
We're gonna have in the next 4 weeks. There's only one Sunday with Patriots football. It's Thursday this week, then a Sunday against the Bengals, then a Monday night, and then the bye. Yep. So we got a couple of weeks here where you'll have an opportunity to just sit and enjoy a Sunday slate. And you come back, maybe that Bills game gets flexed, but if that Ravens game gets flexed, then that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4 times in 6 weeks where you'll just be able to sit and enjoy the early afternoon, late afternoon slates without Patriots being in them.
It's very true. It's very true. Someone did ask about, I think it was Zach, Yeah, Zach asked about when will the post-game podcast go live. I would think it's probably going to be Friday. I'm going to be at the game. Friday? Okay. So I would think Friday only because we can't do it. I'm not going to do it at 1:00 on Thursday night unless you want to do it yourself right after the game. That's up to you. You could do a quick one right after the game. Matter of fact, my daughter has a play Friday night, so it would have to be, if we do it Friday, it'd be Friday afternoon, right after at 4:30 or 5 o'clock or something like that.
I've
I don't
got
know if
the
we do that
gym.
or not,
we might have to do it. This would have to be a Saturday podcast.
and we could do that too. So
the delayed reaction pod.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. My daughter is not starring because she's in the ensemble, but nevertheless, she's performing in her first high school musical, which is pretty exciting. So they're doing Little Shop of Horrors, and she is in the ensemble. So it's pretty cool. So that'll be my Friday night, and then my parents and my sister-in-law and her husband are going Saturday night. We're going Friday night with my in-laws and my sister and her husband too. So it'll be so it's nice. Everyone will kind of be out supporting her, so that'll be fun. So but I will have time on Saturday. So we could theoretically do Saturday nightish. We'll see. So
we'll talk. And if nothing works, I can do a quick 30-minute pod Thursday night after the game.
Yeah, we could do that too.
Top line takeaways and go from there.
Yeah.
A lot of solo pods.
I know.
What a season for the solo pod.
I know. It's been a lot of them. So, but what we could also do is if you did like a super quick Thursday night one, we could also do our regular Sunday night podcast and do like a breakdown then.
We could, and that could be a more casual kind of, look at things.
Yeah. So,
although I'm gonna be honest, I kind of want to sit and watch that Lions Eagles game.
Yeah, I know. I get that. So
enjoy that.
But anyways, all right. Well, that's all. Well, thanks for coming through, everyone. We appreciate you guys. And we'll talk to you guys, I don't know, some point this weekend after the Pats game. Enjoy the Thursday night game. Hopefully those uniforms look good, and we'll see what happens. Be good to each other, and go Pats.